Sometimes it's good to just dance.
Welcome to the Good Stuff Family Podcast. I'm Dawn Kendrick, and I am so glad you're here. These are stories from the perspective of a news reporter on a next-level assignment. Everyone has a story. Stories of hope, resilience, and how we believe God weaves people, relationships, opportunities, all of it for good. For many of us, faith leads our steps, others not so much. But that is what makes this growing Good Stuff family great. We know the journey is better together. Welcome to the family.
Well, I got a suggestion. Sometimes it's good to just dance. Come along.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We want to bring you a story that every year warms my heart. So I know what most of us would be doing would be eating. In our family, we'd have a second round. Grandpa took a nap, then we'd do a second round. Well, what Karen McNeill and all these volunteers at the Peter Maurin Center in Akron, what they do on Thanksgiving, whoa, y'all, it is about more than filling bellies. But they do that. You should see these fancy meals that all these volunteers prepare, and they hand deliver them. I've seen it firsthand to these people who they're friends, and they come out of the woods and they're so grateful. But I'm here to tell you that beyond the food that fills the bellies and feeds their bodies, what happens when Karen McNeill and these volunteers show up for these friends is it looks like this. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, y'all, it looks like this. This is actually a Good Friday ceremony, but these are her friends that will be fed on Thanksgiving in ways way beyond turkey. Speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And I'm going to tell you something. It's hard to, when she's coming, it's hard to miss. You could see, this is her license plate. Maybe you've seen it. God's hands. This is like, if there is any doubt who she's walking with, there it is, walking with Jesus. With God, all things are possible. This is her car. Jesus is my anchor. Here it is, the heart of Jesus. That's what she's hoping to deliver to these people. So again, her car speaks volumes when you see her car coming. But here's what I love so much, that it's an indication of where her heart is. If you see the van coming, you know where her heart is coming from. And that's why when I say that it is my honor to introduce you again to Karen McNeill, understatement. Hi, friend.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. You've been so busy. Always this time of year, but give me a window into what these last few days have been like gearing up. I'm going to show some of these pictures that you sent me. I mean, I don't know when you sleep, but it's all much. No, not much. And it's all for Thanksgiving, which TikTok, we're counting down. So tell us what you've been up to, and I'll walk us through some of these pictures that speak volumes.
Thanksgiving and Christmas are two very, very busy months for us. I'm with the Peter Maurin Center in Akron, and volunteers and myself, we all head out into the woods every Thanksgiving. But to be able to do that, because the police come in periodically and move some of the camps, we have to figure out where everybody is so close to Thanksgiving and redo our route to make sure that we get everyone in. So this year we have 16 stops in the woods, 16 different tent camps, if you will. And St. Ambrose Church is going to be making hundreds and hundreds of turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes. They are so amazing and generous every single year. And they package up 150 meals for us, 75 hot, 75 cold. And Sam's Club donates pies, and we get these and take them out to the campsite with hot coffee and hot chocolate. And as you can see, those boots and jeans and everything else. So our caravan, we'll have 5 people in our caravan. So this week on Thursday night, we started out at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we didn't finish, and I think we got home at 10 o'clock p.m. So we were out there that long. And then on Saturday, we left at 9:30 in the morning and got home around 4. So we have our route all ready for Thanksgiving Day. We were pumping up all of the people that are homeless, letting them know that we're going to be there on Thanksgiving. We're going to have a nice hot meal together. and just celebrate. And they were so excited. And as you can see, there were so many people that got brand new boots, thanks to an anonymous donor. He donated all of these really wonderful Eddie Bauer boots and stuff, and we took them out, and everybody got a new pair of Bombas socks, nothing but the best, and the boots. And Bombas just made a donation of 6,500 pairs of Bombas socks. I can't say enough about that organization. Bombas created the sock for the homeless individual, the way that they fit, because they realize that is the most requested item. And so for every pair of Bombas socks that is purchased, they donate a pair to the homeless. So we struck a nice pot this year, 6,500 pairs, and they are going. So nice warm socks. And this is what we do. And then in December, we have the Christmas for the underprivileged children of Summit County. And that's always a fun time. And we have a birthday party for Jesus, and we have a cake for him that Hartville Kitchen donates. And we just make it a nice little party and help them to understand the real reason for the season.
And the reason for the season, it's so crazy, because when I was prepping for this interview, this popped up on one of these emails that I get. This is really what it's all about, isn't it? If you had to say 3 words, what you're trying to do. Yeah, that's your mission statement, is it not?
It is.
Love like Jesus.
Amen.
And it's exhausting because you are burning the candle at both ends, but it's so worth it, isn't it, my friend?
I am telling you, and the volunteers that we have on our team are absolutely amazing. I mean, some of them can see when it gets real stressful and everything, they're like, let me take that off your plate. Let me do this for you. And I mean, Michelle and Chris and Valerie and Amy and, oh my goodness, Nikki. I mean, they're all right there to help. And my sister Mary and her husband will be doing all the drinks and everything and bringing them out. So everybody just does a combination. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize. We're going to have 5 caravans. So it's going to be awesome.
And we're rolling the mission statement down there at the bottom, so that our hope is, obviously, I know how you are. It's not to toot your own horn. It's not to say how great y'all, but what we really are hoping, we really believe, together we can, together we will. We're hoping, if you're hearing this, you maybe it was on your heart to reach out to someone beyond your circles around the table at your own home. This is how I'm inspired with you, and I can't even wait. I'm jumping in your car on Thanksgiving.
You are. And you did that wasn't it 3 years ago?
I'm gonna do it. Yes,
it was anniversary.
It was it's Thanksgiving is always our friends' anniversary. You're absolutely right. We've been friends 3 years. Is that crazy?
You know what? And this is never about us. It's never about it. What this is about is it's, doing God's work. So that others can see what we are doing and give glory to God, because truly it is His grace that gets us reaching beyond ourselves to others that are in need. And when people say, oh gosh, God bless you guys for what you do, and it really is us who is receiving the blessing. Truly, these are amazing people, and they happen to just be homeless. They are gracious. I mean, every single one of them. Thank you. Thank you so much for this meal. Thank you for these new pair of jeans. Thank you for the hoodies. Thank you for the socks. They're so grateful for everything. And that makes it even worth it that much more, as you really enjoy what you're doing because you're making a difference. And just on Thursday, we had one man who was having it was freezing Thursday, absolutely freezing outside. And I'm a wimp. I can't even imagine. Michelle and I were standing there, and we had to keep going back in the car and getting warmed up because it was so cold. And here, these people have to deal with this every single day. And one guy was having a really rough time, and he was crying. And so he was telling us a little bit about what was going on. And I just said, you know what? I said, you could use a hug. Would you like a hug? And he goes, you don't want to hug me? And I said, I absolutely do. And as I hugged him so tight. And I said, you know what? Jesus is giving you this hug right now. And I hope you feel His love.
That's so cool. That's just cool. That is the good stuff, God stuff right there.
It's truly a blessing. We get blessed every day. It's like every single day we meet Jesus on the streets, someone else. It truly is.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that. I want to put this up right now that, it's Matthew. Hold on. I got to remove your banner here. One moment, please.
That's Matthew 25:40.
That's of course you know. Maybe I was just quizzing you.
I can't.
Maybe I knew.
Because we're using my phone and my eyes are so bad. But Matthew 25:40 says, "I assure you, as often as you did it to one of my least brothers, you did it to me." And truly, actually, I think, is that what I have on right now? I can't. This is Homeless Jesus.
Oh, wait, I'm going to pull you back up. Hang on. I feel like the Wizard of Oz working all this stuff here. Okay. What is it? Oh, yeah, that's it. You're literally wearing it.
These are hoodies that someone made for us. And the artist gave us permission to go ahead and put the Homeless Jesus on our shirts. We have a great big poster of that in our center. Every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., we serve a hot meal in the center where they can come in, get showers, have a hot meal, hot cup of coffee. There's Bible study for those that want to do that. There's toiletries. We have health screenings. So yeah, that building right there is over 100 years old. So someday before I die, I hope that we can build a beautiful building with nice hot showers and a laundromat and everything inside of it to house all the people. That's one of two of our buildings, and they're over 100 years old. That used to be a bar. And we ended up getting that years ago, and that's where we serve our hot meals. And they rotate through to the other building so that there's never too many in the building at one time for eating.
So I know that you're going to share a couple stories that are goosebump inducing, but let's put this up before we go any further, because what's going to happen now is if you want to donate a check or a cashier check, here's the thing, you have to go to Wayside to do that, but they're going to match it. So we're crawling at the bottom, the address to take it. Tell us more about that before we get into these stories of why you do what you do, how people could help you out.
I can't say enough about Wayside Furniture in Akron. Number one, I love them. My house is a showcase for them. I have bought from them all through the years. They're amazing people too, and they have great products. But every year they allow some 501c3s to have people bring in donations from Black Friday until that following Monday. And anyone who walks in with a donation in a check or a cashier's check made out to the Peter Maurin Center and present it there, they match dollar for dollar up to $100 per check. And if it's more than $100, they match the first 100. But this is our one time a year where we do ask for donations and we have a chance to double our money. So, and it's provided, it helps with our emergency overnight shelter. It helps with hotel stays that we have for the vulnerable and women and children until we can get them housing. We have our center that's open. We have our library group that goes out to the woods every single Thursday night for 6-7 hours. We have our Matthew 8:20 group that goes out every Saturday for about 5 hours into the woods. So we literally serve our people 5 out of 7 days a week.
Yeah, and I want to make sure this is a good time to remind people that if they happen to be listening to this in podcast mode, you can see all the visuals of these interviews that we're doing here on the Good Stuff Family with Dawn Kendrick on YouTube. But if you're listening in podcast mode, let's just tell them exactly where they can. We're crawling it at the bottom here, but it's a check or a cashier check payable to the Peter Maurin Center to be dropped off at Wayside Furniture. And that address is 1367 Canton Road in Akron, Ohio. On Friday, 11:29, Saturday, 11:30, Sunday, 12:1, or Monday, 12:2. And a note you said to make sure that the phone numbers are on those checks and one check per individual. And if they can't do that, again, it's matched. So it's free money. It's doubling. I mean, if you could get it if you can get that check by there, that would be so appreciated. But Karen, also there's another way to do that, right? With
right. So if you're not able to walk in for that weekend and you'd still like to send a check, please send it to the P.O. Box 1105, Hudson, Ohio 44236. We don't want checks showing up at the actual address because we do have clients that are around the mail all the time, and we just have to be careful with that, any kind of personal mail. But you can mail it to that address, or you can go on our website at petermaurincenter.org, and you can make a donation on there with credit card.
Perfect. This picture is worth 1,000 words. I saw it firsthand when I went out with you.
Yes.
I mean, we can't call them homeless because they're your friends. Like, this is not just some, way to sound, what am I trying to say? Holier than thou. These are your friends. Like, they know you and your volunteers, and they come up and I know that when we talk about being the hands and feet of Christ, that's what they see in you all. So with this picture in mind, let's, you want to tell, what story would you like to tell first? Jeff, maybe?
Yes. If you want to put Jeff's pictures.
Yes.
There.
Let's pull it up. This is when you very first met him, correct?
Yes, that was in 2008.
Okay.
We were serving out of the parking lot at St. Bernard's Church in Akron, and that was the old school that had been abandoned. And I found this man laying on those steps. For 7 years, he laid on those steps. Now, people have this image of a homeless person being somebody on drugs or strung out. That is not the case. Jeff never did drugs or alcohol or anything. He just did not have a place to stay. He stayed right there because he felt safe next to the church. That's him when we brought foiled blankets and put them around him because he refused to go inside in the winter. And sometimes in the summertime, he would even stay out there and just need a cover. Jeff is now amazing. He has beautiful, beautiful eyes. And I have always been drawn to Jeff. He has such a beautiful heart. And even in talking with him, we found out that his birthday is December 25th. So again, we meet Jesus on the streets every day through someone else. Jeff is now in an apartment. And he has one little recliner chair in his living room. And I said, Jeff, can we please get you a little love seat so I have a place to sit when we come and visit? And he said, oh, no, Miss Karen, I need my floor so I can do calisthenics with Denise Crofton.
That's more than we're doing, or I should speak for myself. But
right. So anyway, yeah. So, and he said to me, do you think that heaven is this beautiful? And I said, I don't, Jeff, I heard heaven's pretty beautiful and pretty amazing. He goes, I can't imagine it being any more beautiful than this. You saved my life many years ago. And I said, well, we all did. We were there. God had a place in mind for you. This is it. You are in heaven, and he's just such a wonderful, wonderful human being. But he always talks about his 7 years laying on those concrete steps. And here he was so cute. We got him a nice blanket in the spring, and he wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's all he wanted. So we gave him one.
Well,
and it's so cute. He's just adorable.
I'm really glad you brought up that you have them in an apartment now too. So it's beyond just setting them up for the day or the week or even the month, because this is like a regular tent campsite that you go to, correct? So this is what they know, not apartments. This is what they know as home.
What you have to understand too, and it's so hard for people to understand this, is that these are individuals. These are somebody's son, someone's brother, someone's father, someone's mother, someone's sister. Okay. Yeah. They just happen to be homeless.
Yeah.
They are beautiful individuals who, for one reason or another, are homeless. And this feeding here, we did every Friday night and Saturday morning. People would come with their kids, single moms with their kids. The homeless would come down. Everybody was welcome. It was like a big family cheers bar, if you will. Everybody just loved one another and would sit and talk. Some people would bring their guitars and play guitar. We had praise and worship couple that came out and did the music. And it's just a great gathering. It's just that what you just saw a picture of a little while ago, the tents, that's their home. This is my home. You're sitting in your home. That's their home. And when we get a new client that are in the woods, we give them a tent, a sleeping bag right there, a tent, a sleeping bag, a tarp to put over top the tent, a pair of boots, warm clothing. So everything they need to quote unquote have their own little home set up. And we try and move them into the right direction. It used to be that prior to COVID, one thing COVID did for us, that's good, that's a positive, is it forced nonprofits and the city and the government to talk. Before, everybody was working independently in their own little world and trying to do what they can for their people within the confines of their nonprofit or city, whatever. Yeah. And when we came through COVID, we had to talk to one another. We had to really talk. What can you do that can work together with what we do to make things happen? Our emergency overnight shelter, it's not our building anymore. We used to do it in those 100-year-old buildings. It just wasn't the right place to do it. So the city provided a nice facility for us. Our donors, we put up each one has an individual clear drapery in between. So they have their private little quote unquote bedroom. And it's just nice. And we have all kinds of volunteers that come in and serve a hot meal to them. I mean, they will come from everywhere, ice and snow, and they're soaking wet. And we allow them to come in, have a hot meal, give them some warm clothing, and just sit and talk with them. I mean, I have the best time. They call me the fashion diva because I like to go to the donation room and find all the matching things. Oh, here's Ohio State apparel. And I'll run out. I'll go, do you like Ohio State? Yeah. And, you get them all pumped up and excited and they get to see these things. And we just have a lot of fun. And all the volunteers are like that. Each one has just their own beautiful gift that God has given them, that as we come together as one, we have so much to offer one another. And they do as much for us, trust me, as we do for them.
I remember, I can't find the picture now, maybe I will, but where you're all circled up and you're praying, all the volunteers, before you head out. Yes. It's powerful. It's really powerful.
The prayers. And it was funny because Saturday we were doing that right before we went out. And so Clancy, he made up a prayer and read it out loud. It was just beautiful. And
there it is. There it is.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
so powerful.
Ren read a prayer that she did. And then, of course, it started sleeting. And so Karen steps in and says, Lord, we are going out to do your work. If you want to hold up those clouds for a little bit and give us a little rain, we would greatly appreciate it. And boy, did he. It was an absolute, it wasn't 70 and sunny, but there was no rain and it was just beautiful.
Yeah. And, I'm keeping an eye on the time here, but I feel like we need to mention this story that still gives you pause when you tell. I'll pull these shoes up and tell me this story about Danny.
Danny's shoes. Oh,
yes.
So one night, it was a Friday night. We were under the Y Bridge, and one of the volunteers came up to me and said, I think we have a new client over here. He's a young man. He doesn't have a coat on. He has pajama pants on. He has tennis shoes. He might be disabled. He's shuffling his feet. I don't know anything about him. You might want to go up and talk with him. So I went up. He was huddled against the building, and I asked him if he was hungry, and he said yes. So I got him up and started to bring him over to my SUV, opened up the back end, and I said, looks like you can use a pair of boots as well. It was towards the end of the evening. I wasn't sure if he would have any leftover boots, but I yelled out and I said, hey, Mike, do we have any more boots? And he says, yes, I have 3 pairs. I said, tell me what size. And in the meantime, I said, what size do you wear? And he says, size 10. And Mike yells out, Karen, I have 3 and they're all the same size 10. I was like, go figure. So anyway, he brought the boots over to me. I had him sit on the tailgate, had someone go get him some food. And I put a coat on him and gloves and a hat. And I went to take his shoes off and they were absolutely frozen to his feet, solid. Stuck, frozen to his feet. He had on those little white footy socks that had gone halfway down his foot and were stuck to his skin with frostbite. And I felt so bad. Now, see the damage on the bottom of the shoes? There are holes all the way through. he was not disabled. What had happened was his feet were frozen and all the ice was chunked up inside of there. And I didn't know until the next morning that was the problem. That as I went to unlace his shoes and pull him off, he winced. And I looked up at him and he had the most beautiful piercing blue eyes and brown hair. And I said, I am so sorry. I don't mean to hurt you. I'm going to massage your feet a little bit to get these socks off of you. And as I started to do that and he winced, I said, what is your name? And he says, my name is Danny. And I said, Danny, my name is Karen. And you'll remember that we're out here every Friday night. And my name is Karen. And you'll always remember because Karen is caring about the homeless. And he looked at me and his eyes literally pierced my heart. And he says to me, I will never forget your name, for I remember all who are kind to me. And I mean to tell you that was God. I mean, that was the face of Christ. Truly, those eyes. What 19 or 20-year-old speaks to you like that? I will never forget you, for I remember all who are kind to me. I asked him, I said, can I please take you down to the Haven? He said, no, I don't want to go there. People make fun of me there. I said, where are you staying? He says, on the steps of a church on Main Street. And I said, honey, it's freezing outside right now. I can't let you stay outside. We lost a homeless person a couple months ago to the rock, and I will not let you do that in this winter. And he said, I'll be fine. So I gave him a sleeping bag, a tent, a tarp, and I asked my brother, I said, would you please take him and drop him off at this church on this front porch? And he said, yes. So a little while longer, we all meet, we go to a restaurant, we're talking about the evening and the different things. And I said, you guys, I can't stand it. I've got to leave. I've got to go find Danny. I'm going to put him up in a hotel. I can't stand the thought of him sleeping out on a sidewalk on this. So some people followed me. We went over and pulled up right alongside the church. And I get out of the car and I see a single set of footprints going up the stairs to the church. And in the corner was everything I gave him, folded very nicely. The pillow, the sleeping bag, the tarp, everything was folded. And there was no other footprints going down and no one was there. It just went right up to that stuff. And then the stuff was there and there was no footprints coming down. Like, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So I called my brother. I'm like, Tommy, where did you drop Danny? And he goes, off at the church where you told me. And I said, where did he go? And he said, I just saw him walk up the steps, so I left. So amazing. And he goes, the weird thing is, Karen, I tried to give him $20 and he said he wouldn't need it. And I said, okay, seriously, what person wouldn't take $20? Homeless or not, who wouldn't take $20 if you're offering it, right? So it was just truly one of those moments when I tell that story. And then Mike came over and said, I'll bag these shoes and throw them in the trash. I said, no, please put them over by my front of my car. And he says, no, I'll put them in the trash. And he meant that because they were smelly. I knew I pulled those off the feet of Jesus. I wanted those shoes. So when I got home, I put them in my garage. And the next morning I went out to the garage. All the snow and ice had melted. And that's the condition of the shoes that this poor young man was wearing. It was absolutely amazing. But I called Jesus Said Ministries, where he said he was going to be eating the next morning. And I asked Steve and Judy, I said, by any chance, did you see a new client down there? His name was Danny. He had on red and black plaid pajamas. She says, no, we didn't have anybody new. So he wouldn't take the money. There was one set of footprints going up, none coming down. All the stuff was neatly left there, just as I had given it to him. And he wouldn't take the $20. So what do you think?
I think that when you tell that story, I think I've heard it before, but I think every time and all you have to do is show up, y'all. That's what we hope that you take the message from this. Show up for somebody. Show up.
There was another man that was older. He had a long beard and he was under the bridge. And I went over to him and I asked him if I could help him. And he had on just sandals. This is ice and snow outside. He had on sandals with socks. And I said, it looks like you could use some boots. And he says, no, ma'am, I don't think I can get them on. And I said, what do you mean? And he says, I have sores on my feet, so I don't think I would be able to get the boots on. And I said, well, let me see your sores. So he pulled off his sock And let me tell you, I said, are you a diabetic? They look like the cubit of ulcers in the bottom of his feet. They were all infected.
Mm-mm.
And I said, what is your name? And he told me, and I said, Ron, I said, your feet, you have to go for medical care. Let me take you to the hospital. And he says, no, they won't see me there. I said, listen, I said, I'm going to reach in my car. I'm going to give you a bus pass, and you're going to take the bus over to Talmadge Circle and go to a place called Faithful Servants. I worked for a medical organization at that time, and our director was the director down there, and it's free medical health care. I said, you're going to tell him Karen sent you and give him my card. Here's $10. I reached in my car to get these. I said, here's a $10 gift card to McDonald's, and you can stop and have lunch on your way. When I looked over at him, he had tears coming down his eyes. And I said, Ron, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you when we took your socks off? And he said, no. Why do you care so much about us? Why do you people care? I said, listen, we're all on this journey together. And we care because we're on this journey together. And we're here to help each other out. Promise me you're going to go tomorrow. He says, I promise you. Never heard or saw that guy again for a couple of months. One day I'm at work. They said, Karen, line 2. I picked it up. He says, Karen, I don't know if you remember me. I was the homeless man under the bridge. My name is Ron. And you helped me go to Faithful Servants. And I said, I did. I do remember you. And he said, I just wanted to tell you I did, just like I promised. And I went there. And he says, they ordered an ambulance to take me directly to the hospital and into surgery. And I lost half of both of my feet. And I said, oh my gosh, Ron, I am so sorry. He says, I did not tell you that story so that you would feel bad. I called to say thank you because he told me had I not gone that day, I would have been dead by morning because of the infection. And he goes, one day when I get my orthotics, and he's in my, not orthotics, but the
Prosthetics.
Prosthetic. Thank you. When I get that, he says, I'm going to come down and I'm going to give you the biggest hug. And do you know he did? He showed up. He had made me a little flowered necklace and put it around my neck. And he told me one day I'm going to write about our story. So there, each moment with each one is so special in so many ways that all of us have experienced. And we call it the Holy Spirit hook because like you came 3 years ago, you want to come again because it just made you feel so good to be a part of the good stuff, right?
Amen. It was the best good stuff we say is always the God stuff. I've seen it time and time again. And so what a perfect way to wrap up here that
right.
If you're listening.
No donation is too big or too small. $2.50, which was the Metro bus pass, saved that man's life.
Right.
So
there
get
you
out
go.
of the seats, go down and give a donation and look around at Wayside Furniture because these people are amazing people and they've done so much for us. So we thank you.
Yeah, and we've been crawling it at the bottom again. So if you can get that check in, they'll match it. And then the petermaurin.org is where you can always donate to help you help your friends. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And
well,
thank you, Dawn. We look forward to you coming with us on Thanksgiving Day.
I
We
can't
have
wait.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll have to do update posts and stuff. And I just want to close this by saying it's not hard, y'all. It's not hard to see the good in others and be the good for them. They're doing it. They're doing it at the Peter Maurin Center. And we'll just close on this, one of my favorite pictures. Try, if you can, to be a Karen, because often this is probably how Jesus feels when you're in your van, right?
As soon as I get in the car, I go, Jesus, we're on a mission. Let's go. And sometimes I feel like even he has a hard time hanging on.
Hold on, everybody. Here we go. We're out to be the good stuff, God stuff for others. So Karen, 1,000 thank yous for your time and just you. Prayers for that y'all would be blessed exponentially, and the people who you are serving, the friends of yours who are on the receiving end of you being the hands and feet of Christ for them. I love you, and I'll see you on Thanksgiving.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless. Thanksgiving. Happy Friendsversary.
Yeah, it'll be our Friendsversary. I love we said God bless at the same time. Awesome. Okay. Thanks again, y'all. Go out, see the good in others, and be the good for them. On your mark, get set. Let's go.
Sometimes it's good to just dance.
You've been listening to Don Kendrick's The Good Stuff Family Podcast. If you found inspiration here, would you click subscribe, follow, share as we grow our Good Stuff family tree? Check out thegoodstufffamily.com for links to all our social media platforms and for how you or your business could sponsor a story. The Good Stuff Family, reaching and touching hearts around the world by weaving families together one story at a time. On your mark, get set, let's go.
Well, I got a suggestion. Sometimes it's good to just dance. Come along.